Hey, welcome to Date Night. I'm Andrea.
And I'm David.
And we wanted to tell you about a date we went on last weekend to see singer-songwriter Kenny Loggins in concert at Westbury, Long Island.
It was a theater in the round.
Theater in the round, meaning all the seats are around the center and the middle of the stage rotates. So sometimes you see the performer's back, sometimes you see the performer's side, sometimes you see the back of the drummer, sometimes they're standing in front of you. It's the way it used to be a million years ago. Any of you Rhode Islanders remember the Warwick Musical Theater, the tent. This is what it was like, and it was from that era.
It's an acoustical challenge because the speakers are spinning too, and so they're always bouncing sound off of different places in the theater.
So we got there a little early, waited for the show to begin, and the announcer said, "Welcome to the Kenny Loggins concert," and paused and then said, "Kenny has an opening act tonight."
Thrilling.
I don't even remember the guy's name. Blake something. A guy and a guitar.
Thrilling.
He played for about 40 minutes. Some of his family was in the audience. They were very enthusiastic. No one else was. Everyone else was talking and not really enjoying his music. Then there were 20 minutes that went by that everyone was just waiting for Kenny Loggins. So during that time, we got to hear everything that everyone on Long Island has been doing, very loudly. There was a guy behind us who we heard his whole life story. He's an attorney.
Yeah, and the woman next to him spilled wine, beer, or something on Andrew's shoes that flew down and wouldn't even admit to it. Had to go running to find somebody with a mop to clean up the whole area.
So finally, Kenny Loggins came out. The surprise to me, I've wanted to see him forever. I love his music going all the way back. He's so much taller than I thought he was. His legs are like 9 miles long.
Yeah.
And he had on these cowboy boots.
I love the cowboy boots. I want to find those cowboy boots. Now I want to own cowboy boots. Alligator skin, it looked like really big pointy ones. They're gorgeous.
They were cool.
Yeah.
And it was Kenny who was singing and playing guitar, an awesome guitarist, his percussion guy who was between 2 drum sets, and the 4th guy played the bass and the keyboards. I'll tell you about him a little bit later, ladies.
Really?
But Kenny sang all of his hits, almost anything you can think of that you like, that Kenny Loggins has sung over the years. He pretty much did. He started with Danny's song. He did Return to Pooh Corner, which is one of my favorite songs.
I like that. Because,
believe it or not, when I was in high school, I sang for an audition-only a cappella girls singing group called, very originally, Group. I was part of Group. And we sang in harmony, and we did Return to Pooh Corner. I think it was House of Pooh Corner.
Can you do it right now for us?
No, I'll spare everybody. But it was, so it brought back nice memories. And he had everybody sing. He had the crowd singing for the very familiar choruses of almost every song. And everybody knows and sang along. It was fun. Whenever I Call You Friend, Your Mama Don't Dance, and Your Daddy Don't Rock and Roll.
Yeah, the Top Gun song. What's the
Danger Zone.
Danger Zone. Yeah.
This Is It. I'm All Right. He did Footloose in one of the encores. He did a 12-minute version of one of my favorite songs, not just a Kenny Loggins song, one of my favorite all-time songs, Celebrate Me Home.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. It was too long.
That was way too long. It was way too long. It was, I mean, I don't know how this crowd, it was past my bedtime by the time it was over. I would have thought it would have been way past the elderly's bedtime.
You're old.
Oh, God. It was fun to see him, and they were talented musicians, but I had a number of issues with the whole show in general.
Well, his voice is not nearly what it used to be. He doesn't have a high register anymore, and a lot of his songs require him to go up into a falsetto, and it sounded horrendous.
Well, the sound system wasn't great. Him spinning around with the sound system really didn't help. And then he lost a lot of the upper register, so it wasn't that beautiful, smooth, clear Kenny Loggins that you used to hear.
It would get very soft.
And then you couldn't hear him sometimes.
And it was squeaky, and when he would try to get up there, they would almost turn down the vocal and bring up the orchestration.
Right.
To sort of drown out what he sounds like. Could you tell what the songs were? Yeah, they sounded fine. two of the musicians were singing backup with him, and
to me, it was like putting an 8-track tape of him in my old Camaro when I was 16 years old. It wasn't sound. It just sounded like that. It did.
So he's, I would say at this stage, a better songwriter than a singer. His songwriting, of course, is prolific, and you thought he would benefit from a bigger orchestra.
Oh, I thought that having just 3 people playing for him, some of his songs are written so beautifully, and having 3 people just didn't help the songs themselves on the instrumental end of it.
The drummer I thought was fantastic. I thought all the musicians were fantastic.
They were.
The bassist, keyboard guy, he would go over to the keyboard, and he's fantastic, but he would make the keyboard sound like different instruments.
Right, I didn't think that was...
And
that
then an electronic keyboard, it
No.
doesn't sound great. It always just sounds like
if he just
elevator music.
If he added a piano, maybe, just even one more, just a real piano on the stage, that would have probably helped mellow it out.
It's a small, inexpensive, to travel around, an inexpensive touring show that is doing smaller venues. Although he's singing, I think today and tomorrow night, he's doing a show with the Boston Symphony Orchestra. That would
nice.
sound fantastic. Yeah. And then he travels with the Blue Sky Riders, which I think is his more country flavored band, and he's doing that a little later in the summer, I think. So this was musicians that he sometimes pulls together. The bassist, I have a thing for bassists. It's just something about the way they move, something about the sound of the bass, which is like the backbone of all the music, makes me crazy. And this guy, I took some video. Hopefully it'll be going by as I'm talking about this. And I will show you ladies.
He's had time to go to the gym.
And he's had a lot of time to go to the gym. He's 46. He's an opera singer. He's like an international opera singer, very celebrated, and he's sung backup on pop before, done all kinds of orchestration. So that was the good part about having the stage rotate, which otherwise is not my favorite thing in the world, but he kept coming around, so I could see him from the side, from the back, from the front. It rocked. And the final song they played in the final encore was The Crossroads, with the great, great blues tune, and they just jammed. But I thought it was fun. Was it the best show I've ever seen? No, not in any way, shape, or form, but I am happy to say that I finally got to see Kenny Loggins. We opened the doors to go outside afterwards. It was this gorgeous summer, warm summer Saturday evening.
An hour and 5 minutes to get home.
Hour and 5 minutes to get home.
It was fun. And it was a date night, and we needed to get out.
We needed to get out. Let's just say that. So thanks for joining us for this webisode of Date Night. Have fun in the meantime, and we'll catch you after our next date.